So I remember the day that my ex left me and my newborn baby and all my other kids and little toddlers in a snowstorm. It was the worst and coldest snowstorm on record for like however many years. Like, it was bad. And I don't know why I am talking about this, but I replay it in my head a lot and feel it, and it hurts me. So I figure I'm going to just talk about it, since I could be crying in bed right now, rocking back and forth, just thinking about it. I felt I should just talk about it because it is so painful. And right now, all I can do is look back at that little mama that I love my kids so much that, like, I would always defend for them to have a safe environment. And if that meant having to either fawn for someone or get rid of someone altogether, or like try to, I don't want to say bribe, but kind of bribe someone to like do good behavior, like, especially so it's not yelling. It's like, you know, I wanted my kids in a peaceful environment. I wanted myself in a peaceful environment. And I just needed like a supportive, loving husband in that moment and any of these other moments. And it was like times like those to shine, where, you know, all these little lives need you so much. Like, it's such a pretty cold white day, you know, it's like, hey, let's watch some Christmas movies with the kids. Like, I'm sitting here trying to provide a loving environment for my children. Like, this is my dream here, you know? I like being with my babies. I want to be with my babies. I've always kept them close. I've always like stayed with them. And I always had kept my television on, you know, children's programming, appropriate programming. And like, you know, I would not have boyfriends, because usually boyfriends would want to come over and put something like, you know, just anything some normal guy would watch. But it's like, hey, you know, there's babies. We're not putting that on my TV. Like, go watch that on your own time. I don't know. I guess I just always wished I had found someone family oriented, truly. Because so much time apart and healing and therapy from all of this makes me realize, like, I was never asking anything unreasonable. This was just a toxic man, you know, and they really hurt you and they really fuck you up internally, with your heart pounding and stuff. And I don't want to ruin my health over a guy, and I didn't want to ruin my kid's peace over a man. And it was like, if I thought I could make the right judgment to, you know, keep him around again because, you know, every once in a while he's helpful with a bedtime routine or some dishes, or, you know, every once in a while he's really helpful with, you know, vacuuming, or, you know, whatever. Like, sometimes you really do just want them to be a happy part of the family and have a nice, happy family. And it's like, you just hope they're in a good mood or something, or like, you just hope that little thing that you may say just doesn't make them so mad and blow up at you. Because I'm not loud, outspoken person unless I'm either doing it on purpose, like off the liquor to have fun, or you push me to a point where I absolutely feel that I have to defend my life, my well-being, or my beliefs in your presence of blatant disrespect. And I didn't always have the strength to do that, nor was it a winning battle. When you're dealing with these narcissistic men in your own home, and when the priority is kids' peacefulness, it's pointless for you to like nitpick or even try to have a conversation with said person. That sometimes it's like, just don't, you know, until you can find a way to just know if you need to leave, you can just leave. And for a lot of stay-at-home moms who are living with a literal abusive, horrible influence, you know, smokers, you know, and that could be any habit that you don't necessarily like. You know, if they're doing these habits, eventually you're not going to be able to take it anymore. And so anyways, I'm here speaking about this. It's hard for me to speak about this. And it's hard for me to remember it and feel it too. But my heart just sank so much when I was with him. He just made my heart sink. Like, it's just sad. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I would be like, hey, I need you to go to the grocery store, you know? Like, this is a real need here. It was about to be a 3-day weekend. It was cold. Like, I'm just thinking, hey, let's bake cookies. Let's make some good food. Let's cuddle, you know? Let's cuddle with these kids. Let's do something fun and Christmassy, you know? But they wouldn't ever want to do that. They would like try to start some horrible conflict. And he's like, I'm not your fucking slave, screaming in my face, mind you, with my baby. And I'm just like, how could I ever have like gotten with a man who does this to me? Like, he literally... He said he doesn't want to be out in that. He didn't want to go out in the whatever, you know. It's like, well, at this time there was no delivery service. It is hard to even talk about this because this is literal, like what domestic abuse truly is, that nobody knows that goes on, because your best friend, the girl down the street, women that you know and you think they're fine could be literally getting yelled at by their husbands. I remember even asking him, babe, could you open this bottle for me? Like, and him actually yelling at me, like screaming at me. For me, in those moments, I don't feel cute. I don't feel loved. Like, I'm trying to create my little dream life, which was this, you know, having a cute family and a cute relationship. Like, you know, like, babe, let's wear these cool outfits, you know, let's get family pictures, let's match, let's cook dinner, you know, or let's you cook dinner and, you know, give me a nap since you've been working all week. Like, I don't know, like, I wanted to live a life where people believed in doing kind and nice things for each other. And I really, really, really feel like I tried my best to like just shower my kids with understanding and patience and being able to get on their level and know and validate whatever their pain was, whether it was like hurt feelings or a skinned knee or just, you know, in general, just needing closeness. Like I've always kept my babies close, you know, and up until the minute they push me away, right? And what I never had, though, was that cute, fun, cool daddy that should have been in that picture for me. And here now speaking about being a single mom for like 24 years, on and off, right? Because of course there would either be some random or some really deep fucking weird soul tie, or like some other weird karmic soul tie of abuse. You know, there's always these like treacherous beings that we collide with who just really like fuck up our psyche, fuck up our hearts, and like we just want to take all of that arrhythmia from these experiences out of our blood, out of our DNA, out of our cells, and we're doing everything we can possible to clear it, right? Like all the time, to the point where it literally almost becomes like your whole life is just, you know, watching every ASMR you can watch and just continually to clear this energy and transmute it, right? And they are just fine. Don't even have a clue, you know, what you're saying, what you're talking about. We're just crazy. And yeah, literally falling to the floor, because what he ended up doing was he actually went back and forth in and out of that in the house, just disrupting our whole life. It was actually just such a disgusting display of abuse. Like, it was so major that, like, I don't think I've ever felt as low as I've ever felt on that day. And I really tried to make it so it never impacted the kids. Like, I would just take them in another room and, like, you know, put on cute things, have their toys, get cozy in there. And then if he starts hooting and hollering and opening, shutting, slamming in that room, okay, you know, I would just shuffle them. But it was like, it was a whole thing. And then he got in his van and literally drove and like said, I don't need you. I don't need, you know, I don't need any of this. Like, I'm not your slave. Like, I'm not here to be your bitch boy and go to no grocery store. Like, I was married to him and I was just nothing. Like, his literal baby was in my arms, 2-week-old precious, precious angel. Like, who in their right mind would want some newly mama to have to load up and go and get stuff with all her kids when she needs to be warm and resting? Like, you can't even go and get groceries for your family if I literally give you my card and, like, you use my card to even get it. Like, this was just, like, a heartbreaking moment of terror. And after it was, you know, when I saw him pull away and leave, I just had my knees to the ground asking God, like, why? And I remember later on in the afternoon, or, well, that was the evening, but so far as the groceries, my other ex, who was actually, you know, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, even worse tale. Well, it's hard to tell. They're both equally worse tales, but maybe not. Maybe that one was the worst. You know, being left by who I thought was my husband. Like, I had envisioned, like, holding hands, you know, just a happy life. Like, hey, you know, and it was never anything about money. It was like we were fine. Like, I had enough child support and enough income from my 2 stay-at-home businesses. Like, I was very successful at that. And like, I remember he would choose to work Saturdays. I didn't want him to work Saturdays. I so craved for closeness. I so wanted him to just have a weekend with us, like, you know, but not in the ways of him being cruel. I wanted him to, like, snuggle with all of us and, like, you know, help me in the kitchen and, you know, like, play outside with the kids with me, maybe go on a walk. I always like to put the kids in a stroller or a wagon, you know, like, it would have been so cool. Like, if he would have came, I just remember all the walks I went on, and I was just like, damn, like, I wanted so much to have a husband that loved me beside me. And I wanted, you know, I mourned for that every second of the walk, even though I was, you know, still able to enjoy that time with my babies. It was always a heavier onset of just the grief of not having that literal, loving, close-knit partnership. And I remember at this time, his overtime, he would always say, I want overtime, I want overtime. We didn't need the money. It wasn't worth it to have him gone. And I said this to him, like, we really, like, want you here. Like, I want, you know, like, these kids are young. Like, this is the time to just get cozy together. Forget the outside world. You know, I wasn't doing a lot of social media. I was fine. I never went out. I didn't go on club dates or girl nights. Like, I never even got back into any of that until my son was like 5. Because at that point, you know, I was fully immersed in just the mom life. And I so wanted to be that married mom life. And he just wouldn't act like a sweet husband. And it just was so fucking painful. And like, I didn't deserve that. Like, nobody deserves that. And like, for them to not be held accountable is just insane to me. But yeah, you know, the other kid's dad was able to bring groceries. He said it was no problem at all. Brought them in, made sure the house, you know, the heating was good. And, you know, thankfully he was there to kind of hang out and just get things calmed a little bit down, you know. And then later on that night, you know, I was there again, alone with my babies, since my husband literally just left me and abandoned me earlier that morning. And I just remember being at peace. Like, I had put the Christmas lights up. My toddlers were sitting close. The other kids were all on the other side of the couch, but we were all close enough. And I had my baby in my arms, and I was like, just thinking about life. Like, you know, I love these kids so much. And I loved my living room and my couch. I thought, this is so cute and so cozy. And like, we all just loved it with our little lights and watching cute movies. And I think at that point, of course, I had some cute little baby cartoon Christmas movie playing for them, and like just trying to just be happy and be cute and like, you know, like have a life of like little enjoyments and precious little moments. And like, they never saw that. They never saw it like that. And like, he would want to work this overtime. He would insist on working overtime every Saturday, and his like net pay was less than $100. And I was like, we don't need you to do that. You're burning yourself out for this company, and we need you to relax with us as a family. Like, I want bonding time with my man. Like, I want to be in your arms. Like, I want to eat dinner with us all together and eat lunch and breakfast too. Like, yeah, I want help in the kitchen. I want like both of us to hug in the kitchen. Like, I want a sweet, peaceful, cute, kissy, huggy love life with my babies and a family. That is the only thing I have ever wanted. And for me to just try to fit this puzzle piece with these different men and just getting so incredibly opposite of that. Like, it could never just been like mediocre. It was always so far deep in some fucking abusive, weird ass shit. And it's like, for this man to never even take accountability is just, it's fucking insane to me. But, you know, I've suffered from what these men have put me through. That was a rock bottom day. That was, I believe, true rock bottom. And, oh yeah, as I was sitting there, just so sweet, like actually feel like I was almost like, I was still like heartbroken and confused, but I said, you know, this is not okay. You don't deserve that. I'm trying, you know, I'm saying this in my head, right? Because I'm hoping that the babies are just, you know, just having a cozy little time. We're all just watching their cute stuff on TV, whatnot. And, you know, I'm trying to just make sense, or not. There was no making sense of what just happened. There's no justification for a man treating his wife like that. And even he will say, oh yeah. And I said, well, why do you have to have that overtime? He's like, I want to get the fuck away from you people. All you do is annoy me or whatever. It's like, who, you know, you got to work overtime. If you got wife and kids at home, you need to get away from. And I don't know, like it almost became like a joke, and it's like, well, why would you even like get with me? Like, I don't understand. Like, you knew this was like a family thing. Like, you knew like that was the life that I was, you know, aiming to have. And like he pretended to be that. And it's like I fell in love with him because he basically like modeled the behavior of what I've always expected and wanted, and why all of these men fell short. And ultimately, so much of the men I had been with had lacked these qualities. So these qualities that I definitely needed and craved, he was able to show those to me. So yeah, like that was just a whole nother up level. And that's why, like, you know, sometimes when you're in bad situations, you go back and forth to new situations too. So it's like a whole cesspool of just 4 horror stories. And well, another bad time was when one of them held a knife up, not a knife, a piece of glass. He broke a mirror, shattered a mirror, and then took the biggest piece of glass like a knife to my neck while I was like this breastfeeding our baby. And like, he said if I said one word, you know, he would kill me. And I'm like, so I'm just not saying anything. But in my head, I'm just like, why am I in this situation? What in the hell is really happening here? Like, but that one, that didn't affect me so much. That was just like, you know, I've seen people pull fucking that, like, I don't know, that's just some ghetto shit, right? But like, that wasn't even a rock bottom. But, you know, talking about this getting left in a snowstorm, I'm still on that story, actually. So yeah, so he would work overtime, even though what I really wanted to do was go to the park and walk around, maybe go to the pumpkin patch with the kids, like, to which when they were very young, I would actually just go by myself because I wasn't going to deprive my kids of the cute fall fun. It was always a cute time and a fun time, you know, when they were small enough to go in the little things, or, you know, but like, I couldn't do the cornfields by myself. I didn't want to take that chance because I had, you know, lots of little ones running around. You know, I definitely wanted, like, I don't know, I just, all around, I really just wanted to be the cute wifey who got to ride in the passenger seat and the baby's all cute for the day and us going to the fall farm. Like, this is the life that I wanted. And for him to just, like, I don't know, it's like I just missed out on a lot by just sitting home a lot too, because, you know, with very young ones, sometimes it feels like more of a battle, just to get everyone dressed when everybody's comfy and fine at home. Sometimes it's like, well, just leave well enough alone. And if that's what you got to do as a single mom, then that's what's safest and most best for the mental health, because sometimes it is really scary to watch 3 little ones who want to go 3 different ways all the time. And it's like, yeah, I was able to do that, and I did it. And then the fact that I did it only hit me and caught up to me later. So, you know, always being on guard also isn't always the best for your nervous system. And, I mean, just the fact that he was just wanted just for basic family life. You know, I would have rather married someone who, like, cherished that and always prioritized that and, like, wanted that too. Like, more than anything. Because if I would have had someone who truly wanted me in that way and to have that life, it wouldn't have had to be a worry on my plate. I wouldn't even have to think twice. I would know that he'd always want to schedule stuff that would give us the most quality time together, you know? To get married and really have thought that, like, he wanted to just be a really cool stepdad and do cool things together. I was thinking, man, my boys are going to have a cool dad now. Like, I bet he'll like show them how to do things or teach them how to do things. And like, you know, they never had that. And it was like, and then he wants to like get mad or something, or like, oh yeah, they did this or this or that. I said, oh, well, you got to show him that. I'm like, that can be a cool stepdad bonding thing. Like, you know, show him how to do that. He's, oh, people should know how to do that. Or like, you know, like he's just was like, I remember I should have just gotten rid of him from like one of the very beginning things. Like, my son was sick. He had thrown up. I wanted him to have some ginger ale, and I asked him if he could just drive around the corner. Now, this was perfect, fine weather. It wasn't even early. It was like 12 noon, something, like no big deal, like not disturbing him. Like, at this point, we lived on the corner, and it was not even a 2-minute drive. And he's like, fuck that. That's not my kid. I don't have to go get him anything. I'm not getting no damn ginger ale. That's not my responsibility. And like yell and scream. And at that point, like, I do remember, like, I thought it was a pretty decent day. Like, there was no, I didn't truly did not think it would be an issue, like, at all, considering he's gone back and forth plenty of times to that corner store, even for like Powerade or smokes or just a snack. Like, there's, you know, I don't know, it just wasn't a big deal to me, but to him it was like some massive monumental blow up about how that's not his problem, that's not my, you know, not in, yeah. So yeah, he didn't go to the store, and he's like, either you want me here for to help with this one, because this is the one that I have agreed to, and blah blah blah, or these, you know what, and he's like, or I'll just go, and you don't want my help. And at this point, I needed his help. Let's be real. 5 kids under 5, I mean not under 5, you know, 5 kids in total, toddlers, 3 of them under 3. And I was baking a lot at that point, and I needed his help. And he would wash dishes, and he would clean up all the mess, and that really took a load off of me, so I could sit with my kids, bond with my kids, breastfeed my son, and sometimes even feed my daughter her little baby oatmeal cereal. And I remember feeling stressed out at the time I was feeding her, and that hurts my feelings because I wanted to enjoy those moments, but like, it was almost like, because I had this awareness of abuse in the essence, I couldn't really fully enjoy my time with my daughter feeding her as a little baby. I was always kind of just, you know, not able to like live in that moment, you know. And I tried, I mean, I was there physically, I was feeding her, doing all that stuff, but I didn't feel a real connection to that moment, because my heart was either, you know, sad for my kid, who I just ended up giving water to, you know. I couldn't pack up and do anything, and at that point I might not even have a vehicle. So it was like just having to be in these situations where I had to always make a choice of whether to freeze or fawn or fight or flight, you know. Constant, just, it sucked. Like, let's just say that. It really fucking sucked. To never be able to rely on a man in such a positive way that I feel that should be normal, that they just don't think is even a thing. So yeah, it's super fucking crazy and weird. But anyway, at the end of that night when he abandoned me, I got a knock on my door from the police, and he had said something like, oh, I got a call from Christopher Pennington that he thought you'd kill yourself. And I'm like, that's what he probably wanted to. And I felt like I died. I felt like when I literally dropped to my knees and laid on the floor. I just laid on the floor in front of the window, like in front of all that, like at what just happened. And I got these little sweet little babies just looking up at me like, yeah, I'm going to pick you both up and then we're all going to go and we're going to sit and cuddle together and, you know, I'll make a snack. Like you know, it was something, one of them nights where I made waffles, you know, like in a waffle iron, and what I really wanted it to be was some kind of like chicken, mashed potatoes, and hearty veggies. And it was like that type of poverty of not having anyone to care. It was like, wow, you can have money or food stamps enough for groceries. You can have blah, 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 and this or that. But the true lack and the true emptiness in life is when you don't have a person next to you that loves you. Because that would be absolutely priceless. And there have been a couple of passers-by here and there that, you know, would fulfill some, but ultimately not enough to even go in the loop with. And, you know, I should have seen that first red flag when he told me that he would not get the ginger ale for my son, because at that point, I think our relationship was very new. And that should have indicated really right there that, you know, he's not really serious or ready to be a loving stepdad and a caring husband, you know, and having to make decisions like what he does for some stuff, or giving some of the kids like proper attention. And you know, that is easier to do with little ones because you get to, like, you know, it wasn't all bad. And that's what really had me in a real hailstorm of a mind fuck. Because sometimes he would be that amazing, perfect husband, really, truly. And when he was that, I swear I could feel like it was real. The way, you know, we would even connect at what I thought was a soul level. I really, I think, suffer from it so much because I thought that our love was real. Like, it's hard to really put your head around that you allowed yourself to get so far into something like that. And you wonder, can you look back? What was the sign? What was the first sign, you know, of... But they always offer you something, usually that you're in a position to where you really need, and they know you can't get that anywhere else. Like... And I don't know if it's part of a devious, sick game when they do that, or if they are just truly so unaware, or maybe they're of two minds. One that loves you and one a monster that hates you. You question all of this, and you may never really know. And... so I said, and I had already known these cops because I had already had to call them a few times on what he's done. And, you know, obviously they would make him leave for, you know, however many days, or just at least a day. You know, it's a small town. They came in. I was like, you know, look around. Like, look how much I love this and I love being cozy here. Like, there's a part of me that, like, did already die. Like, the pain from, like, going through that, like, yeah, like, and that's, like, nothing to them, like, at all. Like, it's so fucking crazy. Like, I have so many stories that are so similar to this about several different men. And, yeah. But then, yeah, they were like, you know, but everybody's known me. Like, he wants to act like I'm so horrible, but it's like, people know me. Like, they know I'm pretty chill. They know I love my kids. They see me at the school every single day because I walked my kids to school every morning, make sure they get in safe, walk with my baby.